Hi, welcome back to Truth Fairy Tidbits. I am the Truth Fairy. I am here to feed you little tidbits of information, little bite-sized pieces, if you will, of things that you probably wouldn't look at otherwise if presented to you while you're still in your statist mindset. Okay, if you have not been here before, please start at the beginning of my videos so that you understand what I'm doing and that you can catch up. Yay? Yay. So yesterday we finished the first book that I was going through, and today we're going to start Larken Rose's book. I'm very excited. His book is called The Most Dangerous Superstition by Larken Rose. So going to just continue on with my format of what I've been doing. This might have been the first book before Lysander's book. I don't remember in what order I learned these things and started to deprogram, but my goal here is to read to you from the sources that helped me to deprogram the statist mindset, and I'm hoping that getting little tidbits of it spoon-fed to you can help somebody else to deprogram. These are direct from the sources. I'm not going to read every single word of every single book, but the most important parts, and there's a lot of important parts in this one, so it's going to take a while to get through this book, but that's okay. Hang in there with me. You're going to learn something whether you like it or not. All right, so we'll get started. I'm going to read you the forward part that is preparing the reader, and then just the very first bit that's going to tell you what this book is. Okay. Larken, look how small this print is, y'all. My other book was a lot bigger, so if you see me doing this, it's because I'm trying to read this tiny ass print. Okay, so just to prepare you, this is what he has to say. When you read this book, in all likelihood, will go directly against what you have been taught by your parents, your teachers, what you've been told by the churches, the media, the government, and much of what you, your family, your friends have always believed. Nonetheless, it is the truth, as you will see if you allow yourself to consider the issue objectively. Not only is it the truth, it may also be the most important truth that you will ever hear. More and more people are discovering this truth, but to do so, it is necessary to look past many preconceived assumptions and deeply ingrained superstitions, to set aside one's lifelong indoctrination, and to examine some new ideas fairly and honestly. If you do this, you will experience a dramatic change in how you view the world. It will almost certainly feel uncomfortable at first, but in the long run, it will be well worth the effort. And if enough people choose to see this truth and embrace it, not only will it drastically change the way those people see the world, it will drastically change the world itself for the better. But if such a simple truth could change the world, wouldn't we already know about it? And wouldn't we have put it into practice long ago? If humans were purely a race of thinking, objective beings, yes. But history shows that most human beings would literally rather die than objectively reconsider the belief systems they were brought up in. The average man who reads a newspaper about war, oppression, and injustice will wonder why such pain and suffering exists and will wish for it to end. However, if it is suggested to him that his own beliefs are contributing to the misery, he will most certainly dismiss such a suggestion without a second thought and may even attack the one making the suggestion. So, if your beliefs and superstitions, many of which you did not choose for yourself but merely inherited as unquestioned hand-me-down beliefs, matter to you more than truth and justice, then please stop reading now and give this book to someone else. If, on the other hand, you are willing to question some of your long-held preconceived notions, if doing so might reduce the suffering of others, then read this book and then give it to someone else. Okay, so just a quick note on that. When I read this book, oh gosh, I can't see these eyes are bad today. When I read this book, I was offended because I was still a statist. I still believed in some good on one side of government could potentially still do good things. 100% believed in the authority of police. I was raised in a law enforcement household. Therefore, obviously, I was on the side of cops no matter what, because they save people and they do good things. So what he gets into here about authority and even the whole section on law enforcement and stuff, I was super offended, and I was like, this guy's out of his fucking mind. But for some reason, I kept reading the book. And just like the other book talking about government being illegitimate and the Constitution being useless and pointless, it made more sense than the belief that I was hanging on to. Think about these things with intellectual honesty, it will make sense to you, and you will have a hard time going back to the way that you used to view things. And the other thing about it is he makes the point, people would seriously rather die than admit that something they believe to be true might not be true. And I don't know if that's just the humanity part of it, or if that's part of what we've been programmed our whole life to fear and to defend that indoctrination, the programming that's been put into you. They also programmed you to defend it to the death rather than take the chance that maybe admit you were wrong about something. It's amazing how hard that is to do. But then once you do it, it's like, why was that so hard to do? Like, I have no problem saying that I was fucking wrong. Okay? I used to be a statist. Like I said, I had law enforcement, back the blue. I had a thin blue line on my fucking car window at one point. That kind of stuff. I was wrong. Okay? And it's okay to say that. I was wrong. I know better now. I learned some things and opened up my fucking head. So trust me, it's much better on this side if you do that. It's okay to say that you were wrong about something. Even if it's something you believed your entire life, like religion. People that grow up in the church and they don't know anything else, and that's just what they've been programmed. And then you just not allowed to even look at anything, because that's blasphemy, right? Anyway, so yes, that's the point being made here. If you are intellectually honest and you just really objectively think about the information that's being presented, you will have a hard time not agreeing with what he's saying, okay? All right, so I just want to read the very first page, which is starting with the punchline. So it's just going to tell you what this book is about. And then we'll stop for today because I'm already getting too long. Okay. Starting with the punchline. How many millions have gazed upon the brutal horrors of history with its countless examples of man's inhumanity to man and wondered aloud how such things could happen? The truth is, most people wouldn't want to know how it happens because they themselves are religiously attached to the very belief that makes it possible. The vast majority of suffering and injustice in the world today, and spanning back thousands of years, can be directly attributed to a single idea. It is not greed or hatred or any of these other emotions or ideas that usually are blamed for the evils of society. Instead, most of the violence, theft, assault, and murder in the world is the result of a mere superstition, a belief which, though almost universally held, runs contrary to all evidence and reason, though of course those who hold the belief do not see it that way. The punchline of this book is easy to express, albeit difficult for most people to accept, or even to calmly and rationally contemplate. And this is it. The belief in authority, which includes all belief in government, is irrational and self-contradictory. It is contrary to civilization and morality and constitutes the most dangerous, destructive superstition that has ever existed. Rather than being a force for order and justice, the belief in authority is the archenemy of humanity. Okay, so there it is. This is the entire book. The superstition, belief in authority, and all the things that has come from that, all the most evil, horrific things done in the world, more so than anything else, comes from this belief in authority and your belief that you are morally obligated to obey this authority. And this is what makes people comply with all manner of bullshit that the government does. And that's been plainly obvious in the last few years. The circus that was the COVID scam was unbelievable to witness. The shit that people did. Like, people were in the pool with a fucking mask on their face. But because of your ingrained belief in authority, well, the doctor on TV said, or my doctor said, or the president said, like, so therefore we have to do what they say. It's sad and destructive, and it's the most dangerous superstition. So there you have it. We're getting into this book, and I'm excited, and I'm hoping that y'all are still with me. Yes, I say y'all. I live in Tennessee. And yeah, we'll leave it there for today and jump in again tomorrow. And as always, do not comply. Bye.